Hannah Plebs, quick little episode today. Not going to be spending too much time on this one. Other than the meta itself, there hasn't been a whole lot of things, but let's just jump straight into it. First up, we've got Fusion and Forces this week. That came out on Thursday just there. So, yeah, it's one of those hidden arsenal-like sets. So, got a secret rare in every pack, got supers in like everything else. A whole bunch of amazing reprints like Instant Fusion, Lone Fire Blossom, Phoenix Wing Windblast, Summoner Monk, just all these kind of like useful cards that will probably come up some point somewhere down the line in the future with something. Introduction to the Predaplant archetype, a whole bunch of monsters in this, like 10 I think, something, 9. They're not very good. A couple of decent support cards, like they have like a themed monster reborn and stuff, but yeah, they're not super amazing. The best Predaplants aren't even out until Maximum Crisis, and surprisingly, people don't play that with Predaplants. They just kind of throw that into every other deck because it searches fusion spells. A whole bunch of Fluffle reprints. I think Penguin is a new card, and then we have of course, the Invoked archetype. So if you want to find out a little bit more about that, I've got a video on my channel titled How to Play Invoked. There's a whole bunch of deck profiles on my channel as well about Invoked, so I'll leave the How to Play Invoked video in the description here for you to check out if you want to know a little bit more about it. But that's pretty much the only relevant thing in this this week here. In this set, sorry, is just like pretty much like the Invoked archetype. Moving on, I guess we should speak about the meta. I uploaded about so many deck profiles yesterday, all kinds of shit topped. Made it very sort of, you know, tried my best to make sure that I didn't just do the what am I trying to say? Zoo profiles. A whole lot of Zoo topped. A whole lot of Zoo topped. I wasn't going to do third place Kaiju Zoo deck profile because I've done that way too many times. So I pretty much have every interesting sort of slightly unique list that topped over this past weekend here from EU. So I mean, let's just go through them all. You can check out all these videos on my channel. I somehow managed to get first place at a regional with a 60 card Metal Zoo. Surprising amount of 60 card decks, by the way. Really weird. There's a good 4 or 5 of them here. So yeah, Metalfoes Zoos is a really strong deck. Time will tell to see if how people decide to change it up going forward. And it had a little bit of success at Seattle. There was one in Top Cut, but not anywhere near as much as I really thought it would have. A little bit strange, but yeah. Next we've got CCG Joshua Oosters here with 60 card BA. He played BA Zoo. Yeah, Burning Abyss Zoo, 60 cards. Then we got Mermail Zoo. There's Pure Yang Zing as well. One of the first Invoked tops I found here. Not a lot topped, by the way, not a whole lot. A couple here and there, but nope, not a lot at all. This got here 4th place in England. It's the Winwitch version. And then next up, this again more ridiculousness with the 60 cards. 60 card Invoked BA. Taking a spot here. 4th place at this decent quality regional, not too big. EU regionals are never going to be big, but yeah, this one. Oh, okay. 60 card Burning Abyss Invoked. Invoked is just BA is just something that you can just put into everything. So yeah, and we have a top 8 Chainburn as well. Chainburn have a surprisingly good matchup against Zoo. Chainburn is one of those decks that there's always just maybe there's going to be that format for them. So for the last 2 weeks, Chainburn was actually a really good shout. Balance of Judgment is really good against Zoo because that deck generates like 5+5 like every turn or whatever. You're going to be drawing a lot of cards off Balance of Judgment. Now, the problem is for you avid Chainburn players, if there even is any of you guys out there, bear in mind that Merkaba is now a card. So if you don't know what that is, you might want to go read that Fusion Enforcer set and read this Invoked Merkaba, because I heard that's a good card against Chainburn. So yeah, just Just, it's probably not your time anymore. First place, Pure Zoo as well. A whole bunch of these, like, across, like, just very similar lists, getting, you know, anywhere from first to eighth, and like basically all of these regionals. Not really much to honestly say and talk about. It's just the standard stuff. Like I said, I tried to this weekend I tried to do profiles for only the stuff that was just sort of different, stuff that we hadn't really seen before too much of. There's a second place 60 card Infernoid list here. 60 cards, hell yeah. This was Kaiju Infernoid, not Zoo Infernoid, so that was a little bit interesting. That's why I decided to profile that one. And I got second. Pure Magispector is being played as well. Psyframe's topping as well. And Kriston Frog Yangzing Scrap Genix. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there either. Let's just move on. Fluffles as well, with a bit of a showing. So yeah, basically Zoo and everything will do you wonders. That's really all we can tell. Moving on to the OCG here, we have the breakdown of the metagame, and it is half of the metagame is Pure Zoo. Just Pure Zoo, not even like Kaiju Zoo and Masterpiece Zoo. It's just half is Kaiju Zoo. Pure Zoo, sorry. Kaiju Zoo taking about 15%. If anyone's wondering why Pure Zoo is doing a lot better now, is because I think they've got some new support cards now. So as you can see here in one of this example deck lists, Zodiac Ram. That card is apparently really good now, because you have some combos with, I believe, Laika and Hammer Kong. So that's given Pure Zoo a big boost. You can see that this guy, for example, here, he's sighting into Kaijus as well, because that's pretty good against certain matchups. But yeah, I mean, it's just Pure Zoo with the standard hand trap lineup: Maxi, Ghost Ogre, Winter Ash, you know, 9 to 10 Zoo monsters, Barrage, the standard shit. No Terratops anymore because they don't have access to that. Bunch of traps, 3 My Body, you're good to go. That's really about it. We've got Masterpiece Zoo is just yeah, barely like distinguishable anymore. True Dracos. You know, I'm not too sure if that's like a Zoo variant of True Dracos. I would have to imagine it must have Zoo cards, surely, since that thing is still at full power there. But just judging by this graph, it seems it is actually just the pure True Draco deck, so apparently that's going to be quite good. In the other section here, making up about 15% of the meta, we've got True Draco Metal Foe Zoo, we've got True King Zoo, and then Zoo Infernoid, and a Zoo Cosmo with Kaiju. Yep, Cosmo as well. It's kind of popular in Japan. Moving on, we've got European Championship has been announced. We already have the dates. It's the 23rd, 4th, and 5th of June. Already announced. Get booking, boys. See y'all there. Let's quickly check out this invited player list. Let's look for our boy here. Apparently I don't have my invite yet. I guess this will be updated eventually. But yeah, so keep an eye out on this if you want to track your invite. Make sure you get your work booked off soon. So that's the 23rd, 4th, and 5th is Euros in June. It's surprisingly early. Normally it's like July. I wonder if we're going to get our World Championship qualifier before America. It'd be interesting. I don't think it's been a while since America had their nationals after us. So yeah, we'll see how that goes down. More importantly, waiting to see when our nationals is, because that's kind of like the bigger one. So the kind of stuff we covered a lot of last week. I did a long podcast on this, on the new rules, talking about link summoning mostly, but we did mention the new rules a little bit. We talked a lot about how basically you can't pendulum summon from your extra deck into the main monster zone unless it's a link zone. Mentioned how scales are now considered back row. Talked a little bit about link monsters and their introduction to the game and the sort of impact that they're going to have. So yeah, this is sort of just like a courtesy of YG organization. Shout outs to them. They've got everything is just sort of coalesced into one long kind of compendium article here for you guys to read. So this is a good, something interesting for you to read through if you don't have a complete clue of what's going on yet. But yeah, link monsters, we already kind of know this, just thought I would reiterate again for one more week. Judge Matt for EU at least has been announced. I think it's EU. I'm not too sure if it's I think America get a different one, but at least here in the EU we get the Ghost Ash Judge Matt. Whoo, baby, that's pretty. Not sure about this this girl's forehead. Don't know what's going on there. Don't know what's going on with her eyebrow. Look at this thing here. There's just this like random line here. Not sure what's going on with that. But other than the fucking Optimus Prime forehead, it's pretty cool mat. Pretty cool mat. A new cyber field spell was put in this little starter deck that we're getting, Cybernet Universe. It's introducing the cyber types as well. So it's a field spell that link monsters gain 300, and once per turn you can target a monster in either player's graveyard and shuffle it into the deck. And the third effect is, if this card in the field is destroyed by a card effect, send all monsters in the extra monster zone to the graveyard. A little bit strange because it doesn't seem very good at all. I don't know if I'm missing something, but basically all this is really giving you is 300 attack. Like the avarice effect is kind of cool, but you don't draw, so it's like you just shuffle something away from your grave into the deck. I mean, I don't know how necessary resources are going to be, you know, fucking 3 formats from now or whenever this is gonna drop. But that seems pretty underwhelming. Anyway, Code of the Duelist card released here, Dark World Brainwashing. Don't know if you can see the art here, but this is little Lightsworn Raikou facing Grapha here. But yeah, basically, when opponent's monster effect is activated, if you've got 3 or more cards in your hand, you can bounce the Dark Lord monster on your side of the field. Actually, it doesn't have to go to your hand, it can go to any player's hand. So Dark World Mirror Match hype, boys. Fuck me, Dark World Mirror Match. Return it to hand. If you do that, opponent's monster effect becomes your opponent randomly discards 1 card. So you have not once per turn. You can negate your opponent's monster's effects, and instead of their monster effect activating, they now discard something from your hand. So potentially, if you have a handful of like golds and silvers, or like the other level 4 one that bounces, I forgot his name. Hands up, boys. Forgive me, right? I haven't played this deck in a long time. I'm not sure. You can kind of just keep bouncing and specialing and bouncing and specialing and yeah, negating all our cards. So yeah, interesting card. Is it going to make Dark World's meta? Spoilers, no, it's not. Next up, we got the Pendulum Evolution Booster Box. I'm sure you guys would have heard by now, but this used to be a structure deck in Japan. Now it's a booster box for us. So it's going to be a Dragons of Legend style set. Lots of ultras and supers, and just kind of like we'll have all like the money cards and the chase cards there for probably not that expensive. Probably should have stayed as a structure deck. Kind of bullshit. No, I'm not gonna lie. Low money hungry if you ask me, but hey, we're getting a booster box in the summer, I guess. Marketplace, Invocation here. Started off surprisingly low, climbing, still climbing steadily. I would probably, if you want to buy this deck, then you know, I would think that it will go down if you're not in a hurry. If you are in a bit of a hurry to buy this deck, I would say now is probably a decent time to buy, but if you're planning on selling it, maybe hold out for like another like couple of days and see how it progresses, because this is the hardest one to pull in the set. Magical Meltdown is actually really easy, but this one's a bit of a toughie. Merkaba is like plateauing just now, so that's a good time to pick him up. Only about £10 roughly, so yeah. Dimensional Barrier is dropping slightly. A little bit surprised about that. Staple 3 of card in every deck. Not too sure why this is still going down, but I mean, if you still don't have one for whatever reason, not really a bad time to consider picking one up. Not gonna lie. Infernoids are a bit of a weird one. The Infernoid deck is not cheap, not expensive really. It's just sort of like Deviati that's expensive, and as you can see from this graph, it looks pretty fucking retarded, doesn't it? Because this shit is up and down like a fucking yo-yo. So, hard to tell what to do with this deck, really. It's probably not going to be super bad. So, next year when we do Everything Glasgow Ijo Was Wrong About in 2017 edition, one thing we're going to mention is how he thought Zoonoid would be the best deck. It's not, surprisingly. So, yeah, it's still a fun deck, really fun deck. I enjoy it, but not very powerful. So I mean, if you really like this deck, then keep playing it. But if if you're here for the meta and you only care about winning, probably a good time to sell this card, since it's I don't think it's really going to get any higher. I mean, it's so weird. Look at this graph. I don't even know what to like suggest. Barrage is sort of stabilizing around about that £60 mark. yeah, it's a bit strange, right? Because I mean, it's gonna go down a little bit more, and then by the end of the week, it's gonna go back up after Atlanta, because everyone's gonna top with that deck. Um, so yeah, a bit of a tough situation. If you still don't have one, you're not really gonna get it cheaper than £60 each, honestly. So you know, if you can find it for like 50, you're doing good. You're doing good. I'll tell you that. Ground collapse here. I thought was I just wanted to mention this funny. That this nonsense spiked really fucking hard sometime last week, right? Because of the link monster thing. So people thought that you could like ground collapse their like extra deck monster zones, or you can ground collapse their link zones, and you can ground collapse their link zones, but that's garbage. That's not a good play. It's terrible. So yeah, this card's gone way back down again. People kind of realized, hey, this is dog shit. Now, one little thing that I wanted to end off with here is the potential of decks near Link. So when Link comes out, extra deck decks are, you know, things like BA, probably not going to be doing as well as they are now, or have done in the past, just because of the fact they rely on multiple extra deck monsters on the field. Something like Mermails, however, are a deck that can get away with just one extra deck monster just fine. Now this is a card that, well, this is a deck that, you know, could have a lot of potential in Link format. Now I don't want to start making wild guesses and wild predictions, but Mermail have always been a deck that are pretty good, right? They've always been sort of decent. They've never been absolutely garbage and terrible. Now if you really are super interested in Link format, this might be something to invest in, because I tell you what, getting those ulti well, just getting like those ulti Taises and stuff, because like Abyss Rising for some reason is the worst ultra set ever. If your opponent sets an ultra sphere, you'll know it's an ultra sphere from fucking 10 tables down, because that thing curves more than like just really curvy things. Yeah, it's really curvy. Okay, so you might want to have some ultis lying around just in case Link format comes around and this ends up being really good. Something to consider. Anyway, this has been your this week in episode, this week in Yu-Gi-Oh episode. Can't speak right now. And yeah, it's a good week. Not really anything super exciting, but make sure you comment, like, subscribe, and we'll keep you up to date with all the news next Monday. So thanks everyone, and see you next time.